Ruth McCracken and Trissetta Washington, two top-notch career and business strategists, are here to help you defy standards and break boundaries. Join them as they share powerful insights that have already impacted thousands of people and will have a major impact on your career, life balance, and business.
Hey, welcome. Listen, everybody. Hey, Trissetta, how are you?
Hey, Ruth, it's good to see you. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. I'm so elated and stoked because we are now allowing breaking boundaries by introducing you all to a phenomenal person, a phenomenal being. And before we even jump into it, I want you all to go ahead. And I don't want you just to be here by yourself. Let's go ahead and disrupt the algorithm on all the platforms. Why not? If you're listening through audio, if you're watching it through video streams, I say go ahead and pop in and grab a few of your peers, your friends, your compadres, your buddies, however you like to describe yourself, because you all are in for a treat, aren't they?
Yes, absolutely. Oh, and grab a pen and some paper because you're going to want to take notes on today. Yes. But because we have a special guest who is a dear friend of mine, and I can't wait to introduce her. But before we do that, we got to introduce ourselves, just in case this is your first time joining us. Yes. I am Coach Trissetta, CEO and founder of Profitable Productivity. And what I do is partner with women executives and entrepreneurs to help them to overcome burnout by combining time management strategies with self-care practices. It's what I like to call balanced ambition. You can have it all. You just need to make sure that you're doing things in alignment with your priorities so that you don't fall prey to stress, burnout, and overwhelm. And so if you want some support, you're feeling a little stressed out, burned out, and overwhelmed, hop on a call with me. Just go to chatwithtrissetta.com and hop on my calendar and we can have a conversation and we'll come together and develop some strategies to help you create a little bit more balance in your life.
Absolutely. And for those who are just chiming in, if you're meeting me for the first time, I am Ruth Mack. Listen, high performers come to us because anywhere between mid-level and professionals and up, they are in a rut. They saying, Ruth, how do I move from being unrecognized, not rewarded to my full capacity, to being able to standing out as a superstar as you are, so that I can now be able to attract my dream career. And we've been doing this now for at least almost a decade. And within our Promote Yourself program, if you're saying to yourself in the back of your head, how do I promote myself? It's my time to promote myself. And in order to do so, I would love for you to go ahead and go into the link, joinpromoteyourself.us, where you get to jump into our free masterclass. And if you get to decide after that, if you want to go ahead and join a private session, strategy session for free with me, so we can see how we can help you elevate or even launch your career. I'm super excited and looking forward to seeing how we can possibly help you move that needle forward. But let's go ahead and jump right on in, because breaking boundaries is about to help you shift and break and doing. Let me tell you something, Trissetta. Let's get the people ready and getting started and prepared while we get our guests from behind, from the stage, from the backstage. She is coming here to being our first guest in Breaking Boundaries. It's an honor because we've heard from you all. We see you, we hear you. And we want to be able to help all of us together in uplifting and breaking free from some of these money mindset limitations. What is our topic today? Let's go ahead and break through on that and let's move
forward. Talking about the money mindset personalities, right? Ooh, and our special guest is Dr. Angela Moss-Poole. Now, Angela is a dear friend of mine. And let me tell you, I don't hang with just anybody. Angela is she's like the bomb. Okay. Let me just run through some of her accolades that you know that we're not just bringing anyone up here. We're bringing the best, right? So she has a PhD in educational leadership from the Florida Agricultural Mechanical University, FAMU.
Love it, fam.
Right? Complemented by a Bachelor of Science in Accounting and a master's degree in accounting from Florida State University. She is a certified CPA. She is also an author, having authored several publications, one of which is From Borrower to Lender, which we're going to be talking a little bit about today. Not only that, so Angela's multi-talented. She's also a singer, y'all, a gospel recording artist, and she has a project that she did with Micah Stampley that was it was number 1 on the Billboard Gospel Indicator chart for over 20 for 5 weeks and over 20 weeks in the top 30 on the Billboard Gospel National Airplay chart.
Yeah, let's go ahead and throw some fires on.
Right?
I mean, because that to me lets you all know that we're not here to play with you. We're here to show, to present to you all in a highest fashion. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring Miss Angela Poole into the stage here. Why not?
Yes.
Hello.
Hey, Angela.
Hello. Hey, welcome to Breaking Boundaries. Yes, episode 32. Look, listen, mastering money was not going to be just a light conversation. We wanted to go deep and in and bringing you all some experts. Angela, welcome aboard. Welcome to our broadcast. How are you?
Thank you for having me. Did I hear that I'm your first guest?
Yes.
You are.
I have to brag about your virtual green room. It has smart water bottles. It has only green M&Ms and only strawberry pink Starburst. So it has everything that I like. So thank you so much.
I love it.
You're very welcome. Virtually.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, Angela, we have been talking about money mastery for the last 3 weeks. We kind of did an introductory, just kind of Ruth and I just kind of had a conversation with the people around different things as it relates to money, because though we primarily focus on career success and life balance, we recognize that money and financial matters really can be huge stressors and create strain in our lives and prevent us from really achieving a lot of the things that we desire to achieve. And I remember when you attending your workshop from on your book, From Borrower to Lender, and really kind of getting into the money mindset personalities, some different money personalities. And I thought that would be a great conversation for us to have with the people. But before we get into that, is there, I gave my version of an intro to you. Is there anything else that you want to share with people before, that you want them to know about you before we start kind of diving into the money matters conversation?
No, I think your introduction was great. The only thing I would add is I'm a wife and a mother. My husband is Corey, and I've been married going on 28 years.
Oh, wow.
And put together for about 35 years almost. He always knows exactly how many years. I'm so bad at that. And I have one son, Michael, who's 25. Yes. Yay. So we're a little unit, and I'm just happy to be here and just happy to be an educator and share whatever I can share with your guests.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, let's just go ahead and dive right on in there.
Yes, why don't we? Let's just go ahead and zoom in and let's get into the meat and potatoes, because I'm sure if you all do not have your pens or your iPads out, this is the perfect time to take a pause, because we're about to go in, and you may want to go back and hit replay and let this sink into your deep conscious and be like, oh man, what she said it just hit different. All right. So let's go right on in. Why not?
Yeah. We were having a conversation before recording around kind of like our money origin stories. And I really kind of want to start there. Do you, can you kind of recap a little bit about what you were sharing with us and how our money story is even formed?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. Sure. Because all of our money stories really is our relationship with money, right? It's when did you and money first meet?
I like
right. It. And we all had some time in our lives as less than age 8 that we became aware of money. We may not have realized it was a checkbook or a debit card. It may not have been that advanced. It could have just been a parent talking about money. It could have been someone giving you money for a birthday gift. It could have been that uncle that gives you $1 every time you make a B on your report card or something. You became aware that there's this currency thing that when I have this money, I can purchase things. I can have what I want. I can buy candy. I can, go down the street and get a fruit cup. I have 25 cents, right? You may not have known the full extent of it, but right. But you knew that this money meant something and it would gain you access to things and open doors. And so everybody's story started probably less than age 8, between 5 and 8, when we started knowing what money was. I don't know if you saw the viral video that was around a couple of years ago on Instagram or Facebook of a little boy reading a book, and he says he probably might have been second grade and he's reading a book. Johnny has $1.50. Or Johnny has two dimes and a nickel and a quarter. How much does Johnny have? And it was a math problem, and the little boy said, Johnny's broke. And he knew at that age that little bit of money is not getting Johnny anything, right? He already understood what is rich and what is broke.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
And it was funny, but what was hilarious was the fact that it was a math problem. He was smart enough to know it wasn't just about math, but it was about Johnny's state.
Yes,
the math problems it's about somebody who's broke, right? And so children understand more than we give them credit for. And so our relationship starts in our youth, and it's informed by all of our surroundings, our parents, our grandparents, all the adults and teachers that talk about money, people that say money doesn't grow on trees, people that say, we're about to go into this store and don't you ask me for anything.
That part. They're already letting you know.
I had that conversation. Exactly. I had that conversation with my daughter. Don't ask me for nothing. Don't touch nothing. You ain't getting nothing.
Right. Because what you're saying as a mom is, I have a certain amount to spend. I don't need the stress of you begging me for extra stuff.
Who can relate? I want you all to drop flyers and let us know in the comments that we're not alone here. This is definitely something common in our society.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the more we identify this, we can see, okay, what mindset concerning money did that put into me, right? Yes. When I walk in the store, I better not ask for anything. If it's not on the list, mom is struggling, don't add any more stress to her, right? And so that put limitations. Mom can't afford whatever I might want.
Yeah.
Right. When I come in the store, I only can get needs only. I can't get wants. Right. And so then your life is informed by scarcity. And that makes your money relationship based on scarcity. Will I have enough? Can I work enough? Will I ever earn enough? Will I ever save enough? And that's why the people that you're helping with your work-life balance need you, because they're on this vicious cycle. Will I have enough? Will I earn enough? Let me take another job. Let me do another project. I can't say no because I might lose the opportunity to do something else to earn some money. I don't know if I'll ever have enough, because they don't have a plan. They don't have, another way to conquer the scarcity mindset and know that there is enough. There's more than enough to go around. There is abundance. And yes, I can have it. And when I walk in the store, I can have anything I want in the store. I may not have it all today.
Yeah.
I can save for it. I can get it when I can afford it, but I can have anything that I want because there's enough.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right? I like that.
That's so powerful. And
it really is.
When I never really thought about how what we saw growing up, because we tend to think about what's spoken, what we're specifically taught about money, what we hear, but just the simple act of seeing different things, like maybe you're seeing, experiencing having your lights cut off, periodically throughout your childhood, or seeing one of your school friends in new tennis shoes, every few months, and you're about to wear the same, you're wearing the same tennis shoes with holes in them, and they're not, they're not the name brand, the popular name brand, and people pick on you because you don't have the latest, greatest, whatever it is. Or kind of like how we are in society right now, and how iPhone users tend to rag on Android users, right?
Right.
So it's perpetuated throughout our journey, and really shapes how we show up in the world financially, and really shapes how we how we experience our lifestyle, the lifestyle that we create, and how much we're able to enjoy said lifestyle.
That's very true.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a friend that she's recovered now, but she was a very, very, very strung out retail addict at one time. That's one of those personalities, money personalities. You are a retail addict or a poverty addict. You are a spender.
I love that you're talking about that. You know, what are some, I know you just mentioned, what are some of the popular money, just the common ones, the money mindset personalities you've come across in your work that can definitely help, you know, describe briefly them in a way that can involve their characteristics?
You know, it's good that you asked that. I've seen, and you can Google money personalities there, depending on where you look, there's 5 or 7 or 8 different ones. My book focused on 6. I have the spender versus the saver. I have the planner versus the dreamer. And then I have the retail addict versus the poverty addict. Because you can be addicted to poverty, just like you can be addicted to retail. And the more, in fact, if I were to do an updated version of my book, I think I might just use the spender and the saver.
Okay. Wow.
Because everything else kind of stems from that. Because a retail addict is the person who says, all of my self-worth is tied up in these name brands, right? They're gonna have the certain purse with a certain logo large enough for you to see it.
Yeah.
They're gonna wear certain brands that have the tag large enough for you to see it. They're gonna get the shoes with a certain color on the bottom. So when they go to the altar, even in prayer, they're gonna make sure they kneel and you see the bottom of that shoe. Right? Because
listen, I know we're being comical, but this is a conviction moment. Yeah. I hope this is helping you all. Our audience, more than likely, especially because they're in the workforce, and especially for those who are not just working virtually, they stem on their image, because their image and the level of how they walk into the boardroom, because it's part of their personality, it's part of their reality. And you're mentioning things that maybe in the back of their head that they're wanting to be in competition with their peers.
There's so much competition, there's so much comparison, and I don't have any issue with having nice things or quality things if you can afford them, but not at the expense of your other balance in your life, not at the expense of saving for your retirement, not at the expense of paying off your debt, not at the expense of having a good credit score, right? Because if you can't have those things, you don't need those luxury items that you can't afford if you don't have a good credit score and a house and savings and retirement, right? And so this person who was a retail addict grew up in poverty, abject poverty. And she was that student who did not have new clothes at the beginning of the school year. Her family had 8 or 9 children. Her parents did not have a lot. They were not educated. And she was that family that the Salvation Army and all the charities adopted every year for Christmas. Wow. And although they were thankful for that, that was the family that was always in the newspaper. Oh, here's the family we've adopted. We've, brought gifts to, and we gave extra jackets to for Christmas, and we bought them shoes and bicycles. So she was known as that family that poor family that everyone had to give to. So as soon as she graduated from high school, she wanted to get her degree. She got her master's. She was very well educated. She wanted to make the most money she could make so that she could drive her BMW, live in the nice house, have the shoes, the purse, the name brand, everything, because she did not want to be known as the poor person.
The charity case.
The charity case, right? Yes. But it wasn't out of how can I live in abundance and give to those same families that she once was.
Wow.
It was, no one's going to ever pick at me again for not having, for being that person on the paper, right? And so she carried that from childhood to adulthood and had to deal with that. And when she was able to identify it, then she could challenge the decisions she was making, and then began to measure her self-worth on, which now she's retired at 52. She's saved up. Now her self-worth is how much she saved for retirement, how much she gives. Now her self-esteem and her competition is how much she gives to charity. She competes with people, right, for how much she gives. Right? And it's no more what she's wearing, because she's realizing that's temporal, but she had to heal from that humiliation and embarrassment of she wasn't a poverty addict. She wasn't addicted to it, But because she was in poverty and she was ridiculed for it, she had to find her self-worth in retail and name brand until she
can
could
relate to that. That
Yeah.
is impeccable. I'm pretty sure there's a majority, there's a mass others who can see in the mirror and see themselves as you're saying this story about your friend out loud.
Right. Because do you still believe that you're worthy with no name brand?
Yes,
Can you go to Ross or Target or TJ Maxx and just get a good purse or a generic wallet and still know that you're worthy of all of that? Right? Or does it have to have that name brand for you to feel good about yourself?
Yeah. Angela, recognizing these personality traits and understanding where they come from, how do we start the process to really heal those wounds so that we now can have a healthier relationship with money?
That's a good question. So first, get a piece of paper, get a journal, a notepad or something, and write out your money story. You know, when did money and I first meet? And when I met money, what did I feel? Was I in love with money? Was I afraid of money? Was money good to me? Was money mean to me? Like what did I feel about money? Right. And then what has been my relationship to now from that time to now? And how has that informed the decisions that I've made? Look at your decisions and then challenge those decisions with your new information. And you might say, yeah, I still want the Louis Vuitton purse, not because it's Louis Vuitton, but because it'll last for 20 years. Yeah. Because of the quality. And that's why I purchased Louis Vuitton, right? Or whatever. Challenge your decision making and the reasoning behind the decision making.
I like that.
And look at the personalities and say, you know, it's okay to spend and it's okay to save, but do it with a plan. It's okay to dream, but do it with a plan, right? And don't plan yourself to the point that you're inside of a box and have no room for dreams, right? And so you need to just do everything in balance, which is what you all teach. Keep everything in balance. And then you just live your life in balance. Will this decision, will this purchase that I'm about to make throw my life out of whack? Can I take that trip that I've been, waiting for? Shetta just went on what looked like a wonderful trip to celebrate a milestone. That's something you can save up for years. You could say, okay, I know I'm going to celebrate my 40th wedding anniversary, 30th. I'm sorry, I'm aging myself. 30th.
I was like, wow.
Think about it. I think, no, 30th. In a year and a half, I have a year and a half to plan something really nice, right? So I can decide, plan for it and do it big, do it nice.
Yes.
Paid for, or wait till the last minute and go into debt over it because I'm trying to impress people. Yes. With the party, right? And so look at the motives of the decisions that you're making and how your money story is informing those motives, and that the limiting beliefs challenge those beliefs.
That's a great point. What is the intention behind the activities around money? Let us know. Is this helpful for you all? Is this bringing you to a revelation? Are you having a kumbaya moment? Are you having a come to Jesus moment where, oh my gosh, did I really take money that serious? Is my mindset aligning with these personalities? Now, you mentioned something so viable, and I want us to go in deeper as to what are the potential advantages and disadvantages of different money mindset personalities when it comes to financial success. Because I'm sure there's a lot of people who's thinking it, but just didn't know how to frame the question. And I'm just curious on how we can let that be a conversation that we can.
I think just like personality assessments, people go through and say, well, I'm an INTJ and I'm a lion, I'm a whatever. You need to identify your personality, right? The factors. And I think we all find that we're a little mix of everything. Like I'm an introvert with extrovert qualities. I prefer to be an introvert, but I can be an extrovert when I need to be, right? But if I take the assessment, it will tell me my core is introvert. I get energy from being in solitude, from reading and resting, and being in a large room, crowded room where I have to work the room. I can do it, but it drains my energy. At the end of the event, I have to go back and refuel because I understand my personality.
Yeah.
Right. My husband is an extrovert. So he gets energy from lots of people and talking and laughing. And at the end of the day, if I say, let's sit and do something quiet, that's not his thing, right? He can do it, but he's got to force himself. But he understands his personality, and it's just different. So I'm not asking people to necessarily change their personality, just understand it and make the adjustments when necessary. You might be at your core, a dreamer. Yes. I don't want you to stop dreaming. I want you to learn some planning skills and put a plan with your dream.
I like that.
Right? At the core, you might be a spender. That just means you don't mind keeping your hand open, which means you'd be a great giver.
Right.
Well, that's beautiful.
So learn how to give, right? Don't spend aimlessly without a plan, right? So just know what your core is, identify it, but then know when you need to kind of blend some of the other personalities. Because what I don't want you being is someone who's fearful of money and afraid to spend anything. And I save every penny because I'm afraid something's going to come and take this money from me, right? And you never open your hands. And so all you will ever have
right there for a moment, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of folks, and I can maybe relate in certain efforts because of the upbringing, maybe seeing how people hold on to money because you've worked your dongoness, because you've worked 10 hours overtime that week or that day. You did a double shift. Let us know in the comments that you definitely can understand and appreciate that. I'm going to be a little bit more skeptic on releasing what's in my hand versus being a cheerful giver and having a plan.
Right. You have to live like this, because if you don't release it, nothing else can come into your hands either. You can't live like this.
Right.
Or you only have what can fit only in your hands. But live with abundance, knowing there's so much more out there. There's more than enough. And I can give, I can be generous, I can save, and I can spend in balance with a plan. And I can be generous. And as long as my hands are like always like this, they will always be filled.
Ooh, that's powerful.
Yeah, that I actually just did a video a couple weeks ago, kind of talking about, I was specifically talking about kind of relationships, or like asking God for things that, it's like you can't grab hold of something when your hands are closed, right? So when you're asking for something, but your hands are closed, you're holding too tightly to what you have because you're afraid if you release, like, what if the thing that I really want doesn't come? So I hold on to this until the other thing comes, but it can't come because you're closed off from it. So I think that's a really important conversation to be had. I'm also curious if there's any specific mindset shifts or practices that can really help people to overcome the negative patterns that are associated with their money mindset personality.
I would say, and especially for women, I'm assuming your audience is primarily women, but it may not be.
Good balance.
Okay, that's good. Because women struggle with this a lot, but it's that worthiness, right? That we're worthy everything, right? And so that limited mindset says, I'm not worthy of financial freedom. I'm not worthy of, having a good life because I'm just not supposed to. It's just not for me. That's for those people. It's not for me, right? And until you overcome that, you're not going to do the next step, which is go and get education. Right. Because until you feel that you deserve something, you won't fight for it. Think about like the civil rights movement and the women's rights movement. Yes. People had to say, I believe I should be able to vote. I have a voice. I'm paying taxes. Yes. I need a voice. I need a vote. And then they went and fought for it. They felt like they deserved it, right? So you have to first believe, I deserve this. I deserve to have balance. I deserve to have savings. I deserve to see my children go to college. I deserve to have a business. I deserve to have my retirement funded. And now, because it's mine, I will fight for it. I will fight for the right for it, which means I will go learn. Right? I might take a class. Absolutely. I might get a financial coach. I might go, find out how to save, find out what funds to invest in. I might actually set forth a plan because I deserve to have this retirement at the end of.
Yes, make it fun and not make it to where you finding yourself always in fear or scarcity.
Not out of fear, but it's mine. And if I don't do it, it won't be there because I'm responsible. I tell people I'm responsible for my 80-year-old self. And I want to look back and say, I'm so glad I took care of myself. in my
Yes.
younger years when I'm 80, you know, because if I don't look out for my 80-year-old self, I can't expect anyone else to, but I deserve to have everything that I see, and I'm going to fight for it and work for it. So it'll be there waiting for me when I'm 80.
I absolutely love that.
I love that. Who want to look out for that 80-year-old you?
Take care of your 80-year-old self, just like we're taking care of our 7, 8-year-old selves now. They tell us you're parenting your child self, your inner child. Well, you're taking care of your future old person.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I do that. So I have that talk with myself in little things. So, like, for example, I might be on my way home and I need gas. And I'm like, oh, I'll get it in the morning. And then I'll say, no, go ahead and do it now. Your future self will thank you for taking care of it now.
Yes.
Right. And so, you know, and we're talking, financial matters it's a serious conversation.
It really is.
And so, but I think that the strategies, the things that you've shared on today are really practical things that we can take into consideration in how we live out our lives so that we can embrace it in a way that is non-threatening, right? Because I feel like we've had a very open conversation that's been lighthearted, because financial matters can be very heavy, right? So it's been a very lighthearted conversation, and I think that our audience will receive, right? Receive the instruction, receive the information, and be able to take it to heart and put it into practice. Do you have any advice or any one of the things we like to do is give some sort of action step to our audience before we leave, something that they can take away and actually go do that's in alignment with the information that we share. What marching orders would you give to those who are watching right now?
I would say first, just know that there's no judgment, right? As we're listening, you might say, why did I buy that? Why did I do that? You know, if you have some shoes with a certain color on the bottom, wear your shoes, girl. Okay. Just make sure you're not in a whole bunch of debt. And if you are, pay it off. Pay off the debt. It's okay. Right. There's no judgment. We're just making an observation. Okay. We're just making observations. No judgment. I'm not here to convict you. I'm here to convince you that you can do this.
Yes.
You can do this. You can be a planner. You can learn how to make a plan. Every one of us can plan, no matter what your personality is. You can have a plan. You can follow it. Just like people have a workout plan or a fitness plan. And there are people that say, it's not even a diet. It's just my lifestyle. This is just how I eat, right? This is just every day I walk for 30 minutes. Whatever your thing is, make your financial plan be the same way. It's just your financial lifestyle. This is just how I eat. It's just how I spend.
I love it.
It's just find something you can stick to. Find something small that you can stick to. If you just say, as an action item, today, I'm going to write out my money story. I'm just going to identify some things. Let me just identify some patterns. Just do that. And then how do those patterns impact decisions I made about what I majored in college, where I live, the job that I have, the person I married, the car that I drive, the neighborhood I live in. How did those things inform that? Look at that. Just identify it. Don't judge it. Just identify it. And challenge it and make a better future decision. Then find something small that you can do. Maybe you're not saving $2,000 a month for retirement, but can you save $25, $50 a month? Can you identify some room for
whatever the amount is that's comfortable for you?
Whatever it is, whatever amount you can do and consistently do for the long term, because this is a lifestyle that you have to adopt.
I can agree with you more. Give it up to Dr. Angela Poole. The fact that you're here and you're shifting and you're allowing us to radiate in your presence, in your mindset, your intellect, and informing us about money personality. Who is hearing this for the first time to be true? Like, really spending and saving is a personality? This is powerful. And that's just two that she just touched on. And it was maybe some other ones I just can't remember off the top of my head. I'm sure because her book shares about at least, what is it, about 5 or 6, 7? Six of them. Where can someone, if they wanted to grab it, how would you share where they can grab that book from?
The initial version that Tracetta is referring to is still on Amazon, and it's actually available as a workbook, because it started out as a workbook to accompany group trainings, I would be teaching that in churches and community groups. And it's meant for you to write in and take notes. It has illustrations, like cartoon illustrations. I tried to make it where anybody could follow that book, and you didn't have to be a financial planner to follow that book. I'm working on a novel that is referring to that book now. It's called She Considers a Field. And it's a book about a young widow who has to learn how to manage her finances because her husband handled everything. And after he passes away, she has to now do everything, find out about his business, learn about herself.
Yes.
Amazing. But she has to address some of her limiting beliefs. And she finds a financial coach who walks her through concepts from borrower to lender. So that book is coming out very soon. And I think I'm going to do an update on From Borrower to Lender because I think it's going on 20 years plus. And I'm going to reduce those personalities to just either a spender or a saver.
Excellent. Excellent. This has been a fabulous moment. Let us know in the comments that this has been definitely beneficial for you all. What was your takeaways? What was the number one personality that maybe hits you the most, where it hits you in a different angle? Like, am I doing that? Identify with it, like Dr. Poole just shared. And I'm going to even go back behind the lab and allow myself and give myself grace and permission to identify what areas am I a saver? Am I a spender? And all of that. So thank you so much for coming in. What would you want to basically grace the audience with on the route or the route of a new journey? On what would be the top two things that you would want them to take away from this money mindset, whether it be if they only had $2 in their pocket and still wanting to enjoy life and not allowing that to be a crutch, to finding that happiness and joy regardless. So what would you like to share or leave our audience with to just remember?
Two things. I would say live your life to the best and the fullest that you can do within the resources that you have within your means. Have the best life you can have within your means. If it means you have to plan for certain bigger purchases, that's fine. If you can do some of the simpler pleasures, everything doesn't have to cost a lot. You can do free things that are very enjoyable, but live your life to the fullest within your means. And then just like we are the sandwich generation that's caring for our children and parents at the same time, see yourself as that. You're caring for your childhood self and your older self at the same time.
I love that.
With your money.
I love it. Let's give it up for Dr.
Yes.
Welcome. Thank you so much
thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be your official first guest.
Yes, it's been an empowerment. Let us know. Thank you all for hanging out. Go ahead and go back and hit the replay on this because she just dropped a lot of jewels.
Make sure you share.
Yes, definitely share, and let's disrupt the algorithm together. Let's go ahead and subscribe and follow if you're not following. If this is new to your world, definitely let us stay connected because it's been a joy. And we will see you all next time because we're unfolding still here on Breaking Boundaries on Mastering Money. And you do not want to miss part 4. So go ahead and lock in where you fit in. In the meantime, have an amazing day. And until next time, my friends.
Bye for now.
Join and subscribe with career strategist Ruth McCracken and business strategist Trisetta Washington to the Breaking Boundaries podcast each week. You too can experience the limitless potential of rewriting rules and creating an extraordinary future for yourself.